Growing up in Germany was a bit difficult. I had a lot of the racism. I was kind of like the only black guy in the class, so I had quite a lot of fights. So I had to choose early how to deal with it, Before they can throw at me, I throw at them first, That was my way to feel safe.
Welcome back to my podcast, Stephen Sulley Study. This year is flying past, and I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful that I've had some really good guests on. And most importantly, I keep on getting lots of good feedback from the audience, and I feel like I'm on a bit of momentum here. And as everybody knows, I'm fighting myself, and I personally believe the mindset of an athlete to a mindset of a business person, there's so many close connections. But more specifically, if you're a boxer, if you're a fighter, someone that steps into the ring, steps into the cage, I believe these are the pinnacle of athletes. I think it's probably the toughest sport out there to perfect and to become a champion in. I think there's a lot of sacrifice that people don't realize. And I think these are valuable lessons for young men, young females who are trying to make a name for themselves later on in life. So anyway, the next guest I've got, a man called Abass. I tried to pronounce your saying name a few times, but I'm rubbish at doing it. So I'm just going to keep it as Abass for right now.
No problem.
I've interviewed a bunch of your stable mates because you're currently working boxing, training out of Boxing Booth with Mr. Adam Booth and and also the infrastructure there with H and Charlie B, etc. So number one, thank you for your time, and number two, I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. It's a good thing.
Good man. So this is your first podcast, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of interviews, but this is my first podcast.
Do you know what? I've interviewed Dan Morley and a few other boxers and a few other people, certainly this year, and it's the first time being on the podcast as well. So I'm happy with that. I'm grateful.
It's a good experience. I'm also happy with it.
Good. So, professional boxer, you're 27 years of age. You've had a very, very good, successful amateur career, winning gold and also bronze in different competitions over the years. Yeah. Then you've turned over to be a pro. So far, 12 and you won 11. I know with the team that you got, the stable that you've got, you're going to go on to bigger and better things. The question I always like to ask people is, why boxing? Why fighting? Because it's such a hard sport, and surely you could have gone and done something else where you could probably make a lot more money quicker and it's not as dangerous. So why boxing?
That's a good question. Why boxing? I think I always had something in me, much energy. I tried also a lot of different sports, but I was really satisfied with boxing when I come to and try the first time boxing. I knew it was something for me, I could let all my energy out, try to be better and better, and I was really satisfied with that. And I wanted to reach some level, I was striving for the better me in boxing, and it's just patient, right? I found the right thing, so I'm trying to do the maximum out of it.
Yeah. What other sports did you try? Because Harlem, who's fighting this weekend, we're actually sponsoring Harlem as well. We're like a brand sponsor. Yeah. Been on my podcast, great guy, very humble, down to earth. I, really, really respect and adore him as an individual and as an athlete. He was also a very good footballer, so he could have had an opportunity maybe to go down that path.
Is he? Yeah? I didn't know about that.
Well, what I read, he was playing quite high, not Premiership, but kind of high level, being a footballer.
That's cool.
So with yourself, did you ever do things like football? What other sports was you into?
I was born in Germany and grew up in Togo for 9 years, and football was the main thing there. My dad wanted me to be a football player and all this, and it was always football. But when I came to Germany, you go different paths and you build different energy in yourself. I tried football, and Yeah, I was there, but after football, I was still really energyful. I wasn't really satisfied. I was giving my best, but it wasn't the right thing for me. All my friends, they play football, and it was always football. I love football, watching it, but as soon I started boxing, I knew this is my thing. I want to be a boxer. I want to be a professional boxer, not on the street anymore, in the ring. I can't get any trouble. So, yeah, it was a tough sport, and I want to be that tough guy. So I wanted to be the best. And yeah, it was also one time I was playing football and also training twice a day boxing, and then at the weekend I had some matches, and the other weekends I went to fight in the ring. I could balance it between school, football, and boxing. But there came a time where I needed to change, to choose which path I'm going. So I chose boxing and gave 100%.
Good man. You mentioned a bit of you had a smile when you said it about fighting maybe on the streets. Yeah. Was that a frequent thing for you? Did you get into quite a lot of fights on the streets in Germany?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Germany was also a bit difficult. I had a lot to deal with racism.
Really?
At first, it made me sad, but on the second part, I chose to be the guy who decides. So before I can get confront with racism, I chose to be the first one who make action. So I had quite a lot of fight, and I used to love it, to be honest. I was 12, and I grew up fast, and when you're a teenager and you feel strong, and I love to fight, and so I didn't want to get out of any troubles. So I was looking for troubles, and it's not good, because you will have trouble at home with your parents, at school and all this. But I used to love it. So when I found boxing, it was the perfect thing for me, fighting without getting in trouble. So I stood there.
So because I'm quite interested in obviously the beginnings, even if they weren't perfect, and then how you transitioned into the sport and become a real professional, which you are today. You're signed by the Saunders brothers as well.
Yeah.
You're a great fighter. Everyone talks about how great you are when you're sparring. I mean, my boxing trainer called Charlie B. I've known Charlie even before he was working with Adam Booth. I've known him for many, many years. I used to train with him at the gym myself at a place called Light to Lift and Light to Box. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Charlie's a
really,
cool
really
guy.
good guy. I think he gave me a nickname that he calls you, which is like the assassin gentleman,
The spiteful gentleman.
The spiteful gentleman, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
He said, Abass, when he's in the ring, he sort of takes his time, and you think he's just a gentleman, and then suddenly he'll trigger, and his spitefulness in his boxing comes out.
Yeah.
So just bringing it back then, 2022, like there's no place in any sport anywhere around the world that racism it should all be stamped out, and it's gutting to see, feel, hear that it's still happening. I just don't see any need for it. I don't get why people are so immature. I don't really understand where they're coming from to have that perspective on another human being. It's crazy.
It's a good point. Yeah.
But if I don't want to antagonize you, but what kind of things were they saying to you? Why were they being racist? What made them want to be racist to you?
I mean, like in my childhood, growing up in Germany, I was kind of like the only black guy in the class, or the only black guy in the school. It was also quite different for them, And I think people are like, if they don't know it, or if they don't have a behavior with something, it's like a bit weird, And at first, I didn't know about racism when I came from Togo, went to school there and all this. But growing up in Germany, having people showing with the finger of you, or come into a room and you get all this attention, So I had to choose early how to deal with it, At first, it made me sad, but then you change, you become different. You have a different view of it, and you need to be different. So and I was angry, and I let my frost out earlier, difficult to explain, but that was my way to feel safe. Before they can throw at me, I throw at them first,
And what age was you when you started getting the racism type bully people approach you?
At 9, 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever cry to go home and be upset to your mum and dad?
That's where the whole thing starts. So I didn't want to get in any trouble when I started in Germany to school, and my dad was once with us, and then I was bullying, and they were teasing me at the school and all this, and I didn't want to be mean, so I was doing nothing, and then came home crying, and then I told my dad, they were calling me this and that, teasing me the whole time. I didn't even do nothing. And then my dad went to me, what you want me to do now? If they are attacking you or something, fight back. And I was like, okay, I can fight back. Say no more. So the next day I went to school, I chose violence. And it made me feel also better because I had a response for that. And I started to get in love with it because I felt better. I'm unbeatable, like nobody can harm me now and all this. And then the whole thing with fighting started because I could express the sadness I felt from the racism and all this. I could express it through that. So I was on the safer side. So I chose this side the whole time,
So do you feel you had a natural ability to fight, maybe box, because of what was happening there?
Yeah, 100%. I think in Togo also I had a lot of uncle and cousins in my age, and we used to fight all the time, even with just for fun, playing football or doing stupid stuff, and I had it in myself. Had much energy in myself, but I knew how to behave. I didn't want to get in any trouble, but I felt like when I get to deal with racism and all this, I didn't have this choice anymore to be cool and calm. Maybe I have it now because I went through certain ways, but these choices were taken from me, so I needed to deal different with it,
Do you remember an episode, a time where someone, when you was at school, was racist or was, discrediting you because where you come from? Do you remember a time and then you had that fight and you had that attack and it was a turning moment where you thought, you know what? No one's going to bully me no more. I'm standing up for myself. And in actual fact, I'm actually enjoying this now because, I'm fighting back. Yeah. Do you have a memory which you can walk me through?
100%. It was one day at the school. It was this guy. Yeah, I have it in my head. He and his brother, they were in the class and they were bullying me, and it was the day I came crying home because it really upset me. And then my dad told me you should fight back if they're attacking you and all this. And so I went the next day and they didn't even start yet. And I told him, be careful today. I don't want to hurt you. So I was provocate them and they start attacking me. So I beat them both. And they came in front of my door. I went out, beat them both. And from then on, I start attacking people. But people, I feel like they could be racist to me, They didn't even done nothing yet, but I feel like this guy could offend me or something. And then I started the attack and I get the response, and then we will get into a fight. Something changed in my head, if I see somebody who could get dangerous to me, I will choose violence before him,
How would you know they were going to be violent towards you?
I don't know, it was this type of guys, When I think back on it, it was really stupid, but it was my way, It's funny memory, but I won't choose that way today,
So Germany. So your family are originally from West Africa, which is near Ghana, which is Togo.
Yes.
So, because okay, why did they move from Togo to Germany? Then I heard you were born in Germany, moved back for X amount of years, then moved back to Germany.
Yes.
Obviously had became an amateur boxer, turned over professional. Now you live here in the UK and you're obviously underneath Adam Booth and the Boxing Booth family. So talk to me about that. Like, you were born in Germany, then went back to Togo.
Yeah.
Why did your family go to Germany out of all places?
Germany was back in the day, Togo was back in the day colonized from Germany. So you could get easily with the visa and all this stuff to Germany. And obviously my parents came here before to have a better life, and then my parents get to know each other here. And when I was born, my dad wanted me to grow up in Togo, have all this culture and all this, and when my brother was born there, my mom felt like, okay, it's good. We grew up with culture, Togo culture and everything. But to have a better life, we should come back to Germany, And then after 9 years, my dad was German already. He had a German passport, my mom as well. After they came back here, was working. After 9 years, they brought us back to Germany and to have a better life, and I think this was a very good choice.
I've only ever been to Morocco, which is obviously part of Africa, but there's so many places in Africa I want to go. I want to go to South Africa. I want to go all different kinds of places because I've heard the wildlife there is cool. I mean, I'm really into looking at the lions, the elephants and stuff like that, so I want to do that. And there's probably places in Africa that I just don't even really know of. Yeah. So talk to me about Togo. What is Togo like? What is West Africa like?
Yeah, how is it? It's many years when I was there, but Togo it's not always peaceful, but the people there are really peaceful. It's like when I think back on my cousin, and I have very peaceful memory, childhood. Everyone like nobody need much, It's not about materialistic thing. It's about things that you're doing, how the certain way how you move. And Togo is poor. There's like a difference between there are not people who are like normal, It's just poor or rich, and there's no really a good balance, but I think right now it's getting better with the infrastructure.
Infrastructure,
yeah. Infrastructure.
It's like me trying to pronounce your surname.
Yeah, but I have really peaceful memories to Togo. It's been now, I don't know, 17 years when I was there. So I need to go back,
When are you going to go back?
First it was like, because a ticket there was very expensive. It was this issue with my whole family to go there first. And now it's about timing, I'm always in the gym trying to get fight and all this. From the amateur, I couldn't also find really a good time to go there. But my mom is every year there, so maybe this year, hopefully this year, because all my family is waiting for me.
You must miss your family, man.
Yeah, I do. I speak to them very often, but I think they're really proud of me as well. And it's deep. I need to go and see them again.
When they see you on TV, fighting, winning, and and you're not just on TV. You're with a big promoter. You're with a great boxing trainer, and you're winning, and you're looking good winning, and you're doing all the right things. They must look at it and go, "Oh, that's my baby. That's Abass. That's my boy. He's doing really well."
Yeah, they're going crazy about it. It's like we are also spread all over the world. I have a family in Turkey, France, Belgium. I see them pretty often. And also in the USA, Florida, New York, we are a bit spread all over.
Wow.
And they're all following my path, with the social media and they are really, really proud. And they can't even believe it's just, fight time, Abass, let's go. But I think they are really, really proud of me.
So in Germany then, just talk to me a little bit more about Germany. Because I've been to Germany once to see the David Haye fight against Klitschko.
Isn't it?
That was many years ago.
Yeah.
I think that was in Hamburg, maybe.
Could be.
Yeah. That's the only experience I've got of Germany. I would like to go to different parts, Frankfurt and, different parts of Germany. Where was it that you were born, and did you just stay there or did you go to different parts of Germany?
I was born in Allen. It's Stuttgart. It's in Stuttgart area. I didn't have much to do with it. I was just born there, grew up in Togo. When I came back, I came to Oberhausen. It's like a small city in North Rhine-Westphalia. There are a lot of small cities, and it's very close to Düsseldorf. It's like 30 minutes to get to Düsseldorf, Cologne, 40 minutes. There are a lot of cities around it. That's where I have most of my childhood in Germany. And in the last 6-7 years, I was living in Berlin because of boxing. I went to boarding school there and with the national team. So I made in the last year Berlin like home to me. And now I'm here.
So in Togo, you said they were colonized with Germany.
Yeah.
The language, I mean, is it similar or is it different?
It's funny because they were colonized by Germany, but I think after the Second World War, Germany was losing a lot of colonies to France, England, etc. And after Germany, it was colonized by France. So, and now it's independent for I think more than 40 years.
Oh,
I'm not sure, but after that, it was colonized by France, and we speak in France. And Evi is like the dialect of Togo, but France is like the school language and the paper language, I can say.
So you can speak English, German, French,
yes, a bit, but I can talk with somebody. After a week, I will get fully into it,
And then the dialect for Togo.
Yeah, it's Evi.
Evi.
Yes.
Evi. Any other languages?
No, not yet.
Spanish?
Not yet. Maybe in the future.
I envy people that can speak more than one language because it's something I can't do. I love to learn another language. So hopefully later on in my life I can do that.
Yeah, why not?
So did you find it difficult to learn German, French, and obviously English?
When I came to Germany, I was speaking just French. And I was losing over the time. And for my mom, it was more important to keep the EV dialect, And so at home, we speak EV. And French, I lose it because I'm not really speaking it. But I still have it in my mind. I can understand it. And with my dad, we're speaking in German to learn German quicker. And my dad is living also in the UK. So I came off visiting him, so I start learning English and watching the things, movies in English and all this. So when I came here, my English got better. So now it's easy for me to speak English.
And do you feel as a fighter promoting yourself, looking to go to different parts of the world to compete? Do you think it gives you an advantage knowing multiple languages?
Yes, 100%. For me as a person, also it's a good achievement when I can speak English. So I'm also trying to learn more. So it will make me also complete. Imagine me being somewhere and I can talk with the people. So it's a good thing for me as well.
I read on Wikipedia, it said something along the lines of, this is before you became an amateur, I think, that you were there was a free boxing camp or something like that. And you went along to a lesson and it says on Wikipedia, I'm not saying it's right, you kind of almost found it a little bit boring. But then your trainer said to you, no, you've got something, stick at it.
Yeah.
And then that's when you started to propel forward. How true is that?
You went deep into it. Yeah, it was the first time I was like in a youth club, you know. Like over the holidays, we go in there, teaching, learning stuff, and playing around. So everybody knows me there that I had much energy. So one day there came a box trainer, my old coach. He was teaching the boxing and everybody was saying, this is the best for Abass. Abass, you should go there. So I went trying and I really like it. I done some combination and the coach was asking me, are you already a boxer? I said, no. And he said, I want to see you Wednesday at the gym. I was like, no, I don't like rules. Boxing is just with rules and there's a referee saying stop and this and that. I don't want it. And then he grabbed me and said, you are coming Wednesday to the gym, 6 p.m. And, you know, the way he grabbed me and like, I want you to come, it was quite interesting for me. So I went down there and as soon as I got to the gym, I see all the young boys in my age, they were also older and they were really sweating, going much into it, screaming, bam, bam, bam. And as soon as I saw that, it wakes up something in me. So I was seeing them jumping with the ropes, doing everything I could. And I was like, oh, they are tougher than me and they are good. I want also to be that good. I want something to where I can go to strive for something. So I see them and the next day I came and start training with them and try to get better and see all the other guys trying to be better than them. And yeah, at the end I'm here and they are not.
So I get the impression just by talking to you that, you know, the alpha male in you, you know, going into a boxing environment, which is mostly men at the time. I know females are now coming into it.
Yeah.
Shannon Courtney, got all these great fighters, Katie Taylor, etc. But it's still mostly dominated by men. And I get the impression from you that it was about being number one, being tougher, being stronger, being harder than people in that gym. And if you weren't at the time, you made it your duty, you made it your mission to actually become the toughest person in there. Why was that such an important thing to you?
I think I was in the right age, you know, where I needed to find a path, you know. And I don't know, playing soccer, I didn't have a good feeling with it or the best feeling. And also having this passion in fights in school and all this, because I used to have it also in school when there came a new kid to the class. I was asking myself, is he stronger than me or not? Let's find it out. Things like that. Very stupid. So seeing boxing and it was legal. It was a law. It was like honorful, you know, winning a medal. It's like, it's a pride, honor. Yeah, I wanted to do the best, you know, to see what is the best in me and to go for that, you know. And that's the thing.
That's good. Your amateur career then, so you've won gold, you've won bronze, you've won mixture of different things. So how many amateur fights did you have and what has been your best moments as an amateur?
I had around 160, 170 around that amateur fight. And the best moment, I think winning the European gold. It was the best thing because I had lot of passion in it. Like I really wanted it to be the number one, you know, and I proved myself a lot of things. And at this moment, I could bring out the best in me and just go for everything, like reach the ceiling. And yeah, I think this was one of my best moments as an amateur.
Your mum and dad, how did they feel? How did they react when you won gold?
Oh yeah, like my mom, she's always with me. Like she's every step I take, you know, in this journey, she's always supporting me. And at this time, I was also long time not home, going from camp to camp, because it was the first time I really got my place as number one athlete from Germany. there was a lot of debates going on, like not really being accepted into the national team, a lot of things. But at this year, I was the number one, and I proved it multiple times. So I wanted to do any tournament. So there was like, when I drive to this tournament, the number two will go to the next tournament. So I leave a big gap, and I wanted to do any tournament. So I went all over the world, and then at the end, winning also this gold, and proof like it was for me a feeling like untouchable. Like every person who doubted on me, even if they were in charge, I proved them all wrong. And I think my mom was really proud of me, and it was like doing this together with her. And my dad, how dads are, he's just proud their son doing something, good.
That's good. So my background is in sales, and every organization, every company, every brand, you need a good sales team or the sales mindset in order to promote you as an individual, promote your brand, your product, your service. That's how you become successful. And what I was taught when I was in sales is people do things for one or two reasons. It's either the desire to gain. So you're gaining world titles, you're gaining achievements, you're gaining money, you're gaining whatever. Or the fear is like, I'm doing this because I fear losing money, or I fear going backwards, or I fear the losses. Would you say like the fear of loss has like, as in I want to prove these people wrong? That's been your main driving force behind why you're such a great athlete?
Yeah, I think the reason why I started was to achieving the best in me, to bring out the best in me. But while I was on the way, you get different motivations, and those was one of them. And what was this question again?
Well,
Sorry.
the desire to gain or fear of loss, what one do you think is the one that pushes you?
I think one of them is the fear that all the hard work I put into it won't pay out, like in terms of me being happy to look back and seeing that all the step I've been through, or all the step I made, it was all necessary to get at this point, at the stage where I am today. And I think the stage I want to be is like, of course, having money and titles and all this, but to know that I really use my potential, like I didn't sleep on it, like didn't take the wrong path. Like boxing is a hard way to go, and I have many battles, many things to overcome, and I don't want it to be for nothing. I want to use, even if there are hard days, to keep going and show myself that, okay, you are using your potential, you're not sleeping on it. That's the most important part of it.
Good. So amateur, now over to pro. Not all boxers step over to pro. Some of them just conquer the amateur, and they have really good, resumes. They fought everybody, won everything, but they choose not to turn over, Was it always your mission to become a pro? And now you are a pro and you've got a good resume already. What is your ambitions?
Yes, of course, it was always my my will to turn pro or to go pro. And as I start, it's the maximum. For me, it's like having good amateur career, having all the experience, and then use the experience as a pro to make the best out of it. I don't feel like using my full potential at the amateur when there's also a pro where I can step over and do better and reach the next level. And for me, the drive to do, I think like I want to use all the power I have to learn, to get more experience as the pro, to become also a better pro, like the best pro I can be. So that's what I'm looking for.
And what do you know? Like the skill set, the mindset, the training. You know, the different kind of environment. Amateur to pro. What's like the pros and cons between the two?
I think like I always had like an pro steel, you know, and for me it's like at the pro you have more time, you know, time like to think, time to build up how you want to finish your opponent or what you want to do. At the amateur you have 3 rounds and you have to put everything in this 3 rounds, and sometimes like I was rushing it. I wasn't really enjoying it. As a pro, I can really enjoy it. I can develop new skills. I can use them. You know, the sweetness of boxing, you know, I have time to enjoy it, and that's the big difference I have between the amateur and pro.
And you as a fighter, okay, strength, IQ, your smarts, your recovery, your power, you know, what would you say defines you as the best boxer that you are today, Abass?
It's a hard question. I think the will to fight or the will to get better. I think that's like one of the biggest part what I have, and the willing to learn, willing to improve. Because I have also a lot of friends or see a lot of fighters. They are willing to put the hard work in, but not willing to learn. And I think I'm really open to learn new things, to try it. And I think this make me different, because you don't know what I will come up with tomorrow.
So you mentioned, learning is such an important part to life itself. But so you were obviously in Germany. Now you're with Adam Booth, boxing Booth. What's the style been like? What's the education been like? What's the training been like different from where you are right now to where you was once before, which is, you know, training back in Germany?
Training back in Germany, I think turning to the pro at first, I was really focused to get the transition. We have more rounds now. Use your brain, you know, and different physics, you know, more power and all this. We were more focused of that, going over the rounds. And I feel like here at the gym, we are focusing on the sweetness, I said, like develop new skills, using your skills, using what makes you unique, you know. And I feel like I'm really using my ring IQ to read the opponent to, like, I feel like my tools kit is getting bigger and bigger, and when I'm reading the opponent, I can choose which one I want to pick. So I have a lot of skills, and I'm develop a lot of skills, you know. And that's the thing in the gym is like I can see like many things I can't do yet, you know, but I'm on the way to do all of them. And like it's every day we're finding a new thing, which is very interesting. And also I'm learning that I'm really skillful, and I just need to practice it, and then I will use all one day.
What about, I was an amateur, but I only had 10 fights for Bromley and Downham, so nowhere near like what you've had. And I'm not a pro. I just, you know, like keep myself fit, and I'm doing the Queensbury Quest Boxing League. I've got my fight coming up, and I've got a little taste to what you do. Only a small taste, nowhere near the same sort of level, but I understand a little bit. And when I was an amateur to where I am now, as an amateur, doing weights, for example, was almost forbidden, because their mindset was, I was going to make you slow.
Yeah.
But when being around pros, I mean, I trained at David Hayes' gym, the Haymaker, with a guy called Ruben, and sparred a few people there. Obviously down Boxing Booth, sparring Dan Morley, Jermaine, people like that. And in the boxing club, there is strength and conditioning. There's weights, there's a squat rack, there's bench press and stuff. Have you noticed that from amateur to professional? And what part has power and strength played in your game now?
A big part, because as an amateur, I wasn't really doing much strength, you know, just a little bit, and I didn't used to like it, you know. But going like to the boarding school in Germany, I start doing strength, and I say like, okay, how useful it is. And as a pro, it's become different because we have time between the fight to build up certain strength, and then to use it and to be sharp and all this, you know. So it's a very useful, and I feel like the transition of it is also more important, you know. Like I can be strong and still fast, you know. You just need to do the right thing for it. And like I said, like I'm open to learning, so I learn also that doing strength is a big part of it, you know. You just need to do it right.
Yeah. Deadlifting, squats,
Yeah,
you know, that kind
all
of stuff.
that, yeah.
Chin-ups.
Explosivity and all of that.
Yeah. Does Charlie Beat put you through stuff?
Yeah, sometimes, you know.
He's really good at strength and
Yeah,
conditioning.
he is.
So in your camp, you've obviously got Adam Booth, which is, you know, boxing booth, and then you've got Adam Martin, which has got a stable of fight as well, but you're basically under the same roof. So you must have sparred Dan Morley, Jermaine, Lakon, and then obviously Josh Kelly, Mick Conlon, Harlem, etc. Talk to me about sparring, you know, your friends, your stablemates, because they all come with different skills. They all come with different amount of experience. They all come with different sizes and shapes and speed and power. Go through some of them. So like sparring someone like Mick Conlon. He's been on my podcast. Great guy. Fantastic person. Going to become world champion because he's got his fight coming up.
Yeah.
What's it like to box and spar someone like Mick Conlon?
Me and Mick, we usually don't spar a lot. There's a big weight difference, but also seeing him sparring is a really, really good thing for me because I'll learn also much. He's quite experienced, had also a lot of amateur fights, you know, and he's doing well as a pro. Seeing him using his skill in the ring, changing from the one side to the other side, and using like, you know, that's the way I want to take. And also seeing him doing good job inspiring also motivates me also. It's a good motivation. Like I think, oh, he's doing this, he's trying to get better and better. I need to do it as well, you know. And he's a good example in the gym. And yeah.
And Harlem and Josh Kelly, I mean,
yeah, we spar quite often, and they're also like, I feel like we're all getting a bit out of it, you know. Like it's very tricky, like sparring Josh. He's slick and fast, and you need to move different. Harlem, he's quite energyful, and he come and will rip your head off, so you need to see how to control him, and it's also very difficult to control. And also I think like to maintain sparring with them in the gym, or if you can do well, you will do well in the ring as well, you know, because like after spar them all, and if you do a good job and they also done a good job, you feel like, okay, I'm ready for the fight. Like what else can come out there, you know, I'm ready for anything. So it's quite a big win to be in this gym, you know.
Absolutely. On that note, I mean, I even had a guy who's been on my podcast. It comes out next week, the interview with him. He was mentioning about maybe trying to work with Adam Booth. And when I spoke to Charlie, he said, we get a lot of people asking to work with us because of the name we built up. You know, it must be quite a privilege to be working under someone like Adam Booth, because I remember meeting Adam Booth for the first time at the old Haymaker gym when he used to train David Hay, George Groves. I watched him, George Groves spar a few people, and Adam Booth was there. And there were so many people that adored him back then, and now he's achieved even more as a coach and as a mentor and as someone who's looking after his fighters. What is it like to work with Adam Booth?
Yeah, it's a good thing because I think he's also pushing like a lot of things out of you, you know, like sometimes also mention like new things, new skills which I need to work on, and every time I feel like I'm doing good, there's the next level, things I can always do better, and that's what I'm looking for. Like, and also I will then grow through the path with age and all this practicing until it's perfect. And when we go to the next thing, there will be always a new thing. So it's like whatever I'm doing and getting better, I know, okay, that was the next level, and he will seize it and push it out, you know?
He seems like he's a very calm, intelligent man.
Yeah, big brain, you know, thinking a lot, and there's a lot of going on, and he's observed and then giving you the right input, you know, and this is very important for me because I want to hear it. I want to hear the bad things I'm doing, and I want to see where I can go, like how sharp I can be, how, I don't know, everything, how strong I can be, what you need me to do. And he always observe, and he will always give the right input.
Yeah. So when this podcast comes out, it will be in a few weeks' time. So the viewers are going to listen to this conversation after this weekend's of boxing. So this weekend you're going to Cardiff to watch the main event, which is going to be Chris Eubank Sr. versus Liam William. Yeah. William, isn't it? Yeah, William. And it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because Liam is in your camp. He's obviously training under Adam Booth. But then you've also got Harlem, which is also training underneath the same stable. Harlem Eubank is Chris Eubank's cousin.
Yeah.
And I even heard a reporter ask Harlem the other day, are you torn? And he made the right answer, which is, no, I'm not torn because my family, my blood has to come first, which is, in my mind, correct. You know, that's number one. But for someone that is a friend of Liam's and also Harlem's and trains under that same camp, are you more torn? Like, you know, I'm not saying you're going to back one over the other, but what's that like?
I think it's a different one because Liam, I met him also quite this year, and he's also a really nice guy. You know, but when it comes to a fight, it's not like you can't lay back. It's a fight, you know. You need to pick one side, you know. And I'm closer with Harlem, you know. I know him for a few times, and he's a really good guy. I got to know him really well, and for me, it's clear. Like I'm rolling with Harlem. Whatever Harlem do, I'm on Harlem's side, you know. After the fight, then we can get to know each other better, Liam. But it's not like I'm wishing him bad. It's just like it's a fight, you know. And I had also a good time with him in the gym, and I like him. He's cool, you know. But it's just like that. Yeah, it's hard one, but it's a fight, you know. You can't just lay back and see. I don't know, someone get hurt and all this. So I'm with Harlem.
Because it's made it really interesting, because even like my business partner, Joe, who's into boxing, I've got a few friends of mine that are really into boxing. And then the moment we saw, because Liam was in Sheffield, and I know Bradley Skeet really well. He's a friend of mine. He's been on my podcast too. Yeah. I knew Bradley when he was in iBox. And then he was in Sheffield sparring with Liam. And I was like, oh, that's really good. Like, you're going to get some really good work from Liam. And then Liam suddenly left. I was like, what? And then he's come to boxing booth. And I'm like, what? Hang on, he's got rivalry against Chris Eubank now, and Harlem's here. This is kind of crazy, and and people are talking about it. People are like, "Cool, what's the dynamic like in there?" Because, you know, people would have, not saying this would happen because Harlem's very professional, everyone's very professional in there, but one may assume that if you're in that camp and you're seeing what Chris's opponent's doing, you could kind of feed it back to Chris almost. Yeah. So like, is the dynamic been a bit weird in there, or not really?
To be honest, I didn't see anything or get any energy. We just it's like it's going on well, you know. Like there's a good rhythm with it, and I don't think like Harlem was even caring. I don't think like he wanted to put himself in this position, but it's like he was just preparing for his fight, you know, focusing on that, and anything else is not relevant, you know. Yeah. So it was a good camp. I didn't get any bad energy. Maybe I wasn't even focused on that too much, you know. But I think it wasn't that awkward as everybody assumes.
Yeah, fair enough. So Liam, when I spoke to Charlie Beat about him, he said very strong, very strong guy. Have you sparred him?
Yeah, we had a couple of good rounds. Was really he's really experienced. Was good one for me. I learned a lot through it because I learn every time I'm doing well, and he's quite experienced. It was a good work.
Yeah, good stuff. And look, I'm going to ask you a really hard question, right? Let's just pretend you don't know Harlem, yeah? And you had to look at Chris Eubank and Liam, okay, from a pure fan's point of view. Okay, you're not a boxer, you don't know Harlem, and you're looking at, and you're about to be there at, fight night in Cardiff. Who you going with?
Funny one. It's like I thought about it also, like if I didn't knew Liam, if he didn't came to the gym, I would roll with like Harlem, his cousin, saying that this. So it's like from now on, if Harlem wasn't there, I think it's 50-50. Both are anything can happen,
Yeah.
Both are very experienced and strong, and I just think like this is gonna be a good fight, and I'm interested in watching it, see what's going to happen. So, and when it's like that hard, you just want to enjoy the show, see who's getting better. I think the one who prepares better can get through.
Yeah, seems like Liam has got a bit of, wants to prove himself in this one. Chris has obviously got the experience and got more decorated fighter, been in with George Groves, been in with James DeGale, been in with Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, massive names. But Liam almost like seems a bit more aggressive towards it, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Like all I can say, like I'm not even expecting also something. I'm just expecting to watch a good fight.
Yeah, Harlem's got a tough fight as well, but Harlem's going to do his thing.
Yeah, 100%. Because Harlem's, his mindset, he's ready for everything, and I can't wait to watch him in the ring. That's the main reason why I'm going to Cardiff.
Good. So more about you. When are you fighting next?
I'm fighting 19th of March in Berlin. It's gonna be announced soon, and it's not confirmed yet, but hopefully it's gonna be a title fight. And I'm preparing for it right now.
You want to become world champion?
100%.
Yeah. In one weight class, multiple weight classes, undisputed.
I'm excited. I leave it open. How the flow goes. I'm going with it, but definitely that's the way I want to take.
So you're 27 now.
Yeah.
You want to become world champion, probably undisputed. Maybe in different weight classes. You're 27. When do you think you're going to come out the sport? 35, 36, 37, or you haven't planned for that?
I haven't planned for that. Like, I think back in the days, people stopped earlier with fights, but I think nowadays things are changing, People, I think I read today, Sergio Martinez is still fighting at 64 years old, I think when I reached my level, I brought off like everything, a lot of things, reach my potential, then maybe it's time to lay it down. But at first I have a good list to things I want to accomplish, and after doing this, and I want to put the gloves down like I want it, not like I'm forced to do it, so I want to close the book quite fully, and I don't know when it's time for that.
Do you know, like the number one thing for most boxers is to become that world champion and do it multiple times. So there's no question marks over that fighter. They are the real deal. And I get the sense that's what you want to achieve. But let's remember also, this is your business. This is your occupation. This is your work. So work, occupation, and your career, what comes with that is money. Without money, you can't train, you can't feed yourself, you can't have a family, you can't get the nicer things in life, you can't travel. So money is important. There are certain fighters where they make their whole profile about money. Mayweather, Conor McGregor a bit. He's you know, but then there's other fighters who don't really appear to care too much about money. So the question I was going to ask you is money. How important is it to you?
Yeah, of course, money is important, but you know, it's not the main thing why I'm doing it. I think with the time, money will flow in itself, you know, but that's not the main thing. Like I just wanna, if I can live good, you know, money is not the main thing too. And of course, to invest is smart, to use it smart, yeah. But I think I've choose so many paths. It's long time not about money anymore, you know.
Fair enough. So let's just hypothetically say by the time you're 35 years of age, you've achieved everything you want to achieve. You got a good amount of money in the bank. You got some assets. World champion multiple times over. Maybe have a family by then. You know, you've achieved a lot. Where does Abass go after boxing? What are you looking to achieve and looking to do after your life in the boxing ring?
I think there are a lot of things. I don't know yet, but I'm quite interested in a lot of things. Maybe management. I don't know. Maybe something with boxing, or maybe also far away from boxing. I don't know yet, but I know that I want to give back something. You know, like maybe find some people who are like similar in my situation to help them, or I don't know, maybe in investment. I don't know. Like it's also really open. Like I don't have a plan for it yet, but I know down the time it will build itself. So right now it's just plan A, boxing, and to use it right, you know.
I feel like, you know, in any athlete that gets to a high level, footballers, rugby players, boxers, UFC fighters, you can build a good profile as a champion, good amount of following on social media. That never used to matter back in the day, but I think now it does. You know, you're verified, you've got basically 10,000 followers. When you're world champion, you're going to probably have 100, 200, 300,000, million maybe. With the following and being respected as a champion, opportunities come, you know, endorsements. If you've got a good amount of money in the bank, you can then move to a different part of the world, set up a company, assets, you know, you've got multiple things. But I think number one, the lesson is become really good at one thing and then the doors will open to other things.
100%. That's the same mindset I have. And then you can also, you're free to decide what you want to do, you know. And I think like if you have some passion in you, you will find anything, you know. Everything you touches can be like one thing to fulfill your love for it and all this. So that's what I'm thinking, like doing once perfect, and then you will open doors also for many others, you know.
Good man. Well, look, where can people follow your journey, Abass? Where can they find you?
Journey on Instagram, maybe. I'm on Twitter, not that active, but on Instagram, Abass Baraou. Follow me, and then you can see a slice of the work I'm doing.
Good man. And if people fancy it, Box Hill on a Saturday, usually you're there. I was there not last weekend before, and the new circuit is tough, man.
It's tough, but I love it. You know, 12 kilometers, up and downs, and it's horrible, but it's nice.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Sets you up for the day.
100%.
So I know you've probably got training later on this afternoon, so I don't want to take too much of your time. Or is it your day off today?
Today's a rest day,
Okay, cool. All right. Well, there's probably loads of other things you want to do. So I thank you for your time. I'm going to ask you one more question.
Please.
Okay. When I first started my own business with salespeople, I came out with a mantra, like a catchphrase, like something to live by. And this is what I came up with. Be happy, never content. There's a reason why I came up with that. It was to get into the minds of the salespeople to, you know, push on.
Okay.
But if I were to ask yourself, Abass, what does be happy, never content mean to you?
Be happy, never content. It's a good one. Yeah, like do what you love, right? Like just never content. What means that? What do you mean by never content? Especially?
So contentment is basically when you're kind of happy or satisfied with what you've achieved. So as a boxer, someone looking to become world champion, you can't be content. I mean, you're happy with what you've achieved, but you can't be content, because if you were content, you wouldn't want to become world champion. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone's got the different interpretations of what be happy, never content is. And I always ask my guests what their view and what their take is on that quote.
Yeah, I have also like a similar one, like speak what you seek until you see what you said, you know, like say it out loud and then do it, you know. So that's a similar thing I can take out of it, and do what you love, you know. Don't try to bend yourself like or look at what others doing. Just do what you want to do and go 100% for it.
I love that, man. Well, thank you very much. You've been an absolute gentleman. I'm looking forward to seeing you back in the ring. I'm going to be supporting. I'm going to be there, you know, definitely watching everything you're doing. You're inspiring me. You're inspiring others. So thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. It was good, my first podcast. I thought it would be worse with my English, but I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Well, what we'll do when you become world champion, we'll get you back here with the belt.
Anytime.
And we'll do it again, yeah?
Anytime.
Well, look, everyone follow Abass. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please share it with your friends and family. Like, subscribe, and always remember to be happy and never content. Thank you very much.
Good talk. Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.